Okay, folks, we're reusing something again. Not magazine like we normally do, but something else because there's a different pattern and a different, should I say, different colours in this. So we might as well use it. So let's see how we go with it. Give me a challenge, but it should hopefully look really nice. Okay, let's see what we have here to demo with. It is one of these colour test patterns that I get from at work that get thrown away. It's called a colour warm-up page. So it's to do with the printer that prints the birth and deaths and marriage certificates. Although we only do the deaths and we don't do the death certificates, we do the marriage and the births and the relationship ones. That's what I do as a job, as my main job at the ADE, the Australian Disability Enterprise that I work for. I wish I could be could become an artist and become well known for what I'm good at, not what I have to consider my disability as the most important thing to consider. The most important thing to consider here is my talent. I want to focus on what I'm good at, and eventually I want to leave the ADE, leave Centrelink, and basically support myself with the help of my partner Luigi, of course, because we both have a passion for photocopiers and what they do, and we can both work together. I don't have to worry about bills and shit, trying to accept the limitations that my disability has imposed upon me. I don't want to focus on my disability, folks. I want to focus on what I can do. I want to be positive instead of thinking negative and thinking down on myself for being disabled, because it's really quite discouraging when you look at a disability and you see shit. I'm trying to work with what I can do and what I can't do. Let's see how we go with this. And that's come up looking quite interesting. I don't know if maybe we're going to utilise that as a master copy. That looks really quite interesting, that shape there. So wondering which one we're going to work with. We're going to work with this. Try to work with this one, the master copy, and make that into something even more interesting. But I do appreciate the support I've received throughout the years on the disability support pension and the ADEs that I've worked for. But I do want to move on once I get to air on the 6 o'clock news on Channel 9. I'm trying to get Channel 9 interested in my work so I can be launched into, you could say, into outer space in a positive sense, you could say. That's come up looking quite interesting. I do wonder how I'm going to frame it. I'm going to frame it maybe from there to there, and maybe there and there, something like that. We'll see how we go. But I don't want to be under the pump when it comes to dealing with my disability. I don't want to be focused on it anymore. I want to be focused on my talent as a photocopier artist, not as a fucking person with disability trying to eke out a living and I can't support myself much longer with these costs of living pressures mounting on us, on the world, and it's really difficult trying to make ends meet and trying to get this stuff to go to air on the 6 o'clock news. And if I don't use this opportunity now, I'll never make it. So I have to fucking concentrate here. I have had to avoid once again, celebrations. You know, not celebrating my 50th birthday. Well, I wanted to be with Luigi anyway, but it never happened. 6 o'clock news let me down. Channel 9 let me down. Whatever, folks. I just get so annoyed, desperate to make things better, and I just can't do it on my own. I need the help. I need the TV channels to cooperate. That's the difficult thing to try and do, is get them to cooperate. Wondering if we can maybe cut it down there a bit, down there instead of there, so we can get the higher bits up. So I'm going to move it across this way. But yeah, I don't want to drown in these expenses. I don't want to be just another poverty statistic, another person that's gone under, and I just can't afford it. You know, the rent goes up, the power goes up, everything goes up now. It's like everything is going up, and I'm just not keeping up with it. I even have to take only roughly one shower a week to avoid a huge power bill that I'm foreseeing will happen, because everything just keeps going up in such a maniacal way, and I just don't want to have a big power bill, and I just can't afford to pay it. So, you know, I have to keep the power on for the computer, for the photocopier, for the cooking, for the refrigeration, for the hot water, even though I'm using less, and all that sort of shit. So I can't afford to, I have to have this shit. Everyone does. It's everyone's human right to have these so-called, what used to be known as luxuries, hot water and shit. I do wonder if we're going to keep it like that, or if we're going to enlarge it further. I do think we're going to maybe enlarge it further on the horizontal. So maybe take it from 170 to 180. But yeah, I don't want to be drowning in this. I know this photocopier, for example, is probably going to be unusable once the service agreement runs out in April this year. So I'm really under the pump to get this stuff out there. It's like a deadline I've got a deadline, and I have to meet this deadline of cost of expenses and all this stuff appearing to implode on me. All these expenses and all these things running out of, like with the photocopier's service agreement perhaps being null and void, because the company that built the photocopier isn't going to guarantee the spare parts, and then if the dealer can't get spare parts off the manufacturer, that means the service agreement becomes null and void. There is none. And I can't afford the toner, I can't afford getting the photocopier fixed if it breaks. These things would be even more expensive and shocking, and I wouldn't be able to afford it, folks. So I'm under the pump, folks. So if you hear me slinging off at TV channels, especially Channel 9, well, yes, I'm under the pump. I'm under the pump, folks. I'm really under pressure to perform and to get this shit to go to air on the 6 o'clock news, even though they're not cooperating with me. They don't appear to be cooperating. I've got a feeling like they don't care. It hurts my feelings, but I have to accept that. But I have to fucking keep going and keep persisting, because persistence is the only thing that I can see that'll pay off in the long run. And I've got to keep going at it. I've been working on this campaign for more than a decade, so it's been a long time that I've been on this case. I did the enlargements differently to what I was thinking of doing them. I don't know if that's worked in favour of this or if it's fucked it up. I don't know. We'll soon find out if it looks any good as a mirror imaged piece. There you have it. That's our finished piece. I think we can now call this demo quits.